Yo, what's up, guys? In this video, somebody asked me to do one about this guy, Enkiri Elite Fitness. I seem to remember this guy. I watched a video of him, I think, where he goes after Athlean X, I want to say. Um, I get it. I guess I do this too, where I go after people. Um, I am a Gymcel. That's kind of funny. I kind of want to watch this one. I think I've seen one of this guy's videos. I want to say where he goes after Athlean X or something. I think it was like one of these. Yeah, maybe it was this one. I don't really know, whatever. Anyway, let's watch this. Um, yeah, this guy really doesn't like Athlean X. I don't know why. Athlean X is legit. Anyway, let's watch this. I am a Gymcel. If you guys have any other recommendations or videos or YouTubers you want me to comment on, let me know. Leave me a comment.
What's up, guys? Alec Enkiri here. And I'm sad to say, I've received some devastating news this week. As it turns out, I, Alec Enkiri, am a Gymcel. Now, when I initially received my diagnosis, I was both scared and confused. Scared because anyone who posts completely irrelevant, racist tirades in the comment section of a YouTube video must be very intelligent and know exactly what they're talking about. And confused because I've never heard that term before in my life, and I have absolutely no idea what unspeakable malady I'm afflicted with. See, I don't keep up with you kids and your crazy made-up words, so I consulted my good old friend Urban Dictionary to find out just what was wrong with me. And much to my chagrin, it turns out I'm an overcompensating virgin who lifts weights as a means of coping with the fact that I can't get laid or get girls to pay attention to me. Man, that was tough to hear. You know, guys, reality can be pretty damn harsh sometimes. And with this diagnosis, I really don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to call up all the girls I've slept with and tell them it was all just in their heads. Because according to the all-knowing racist YouTube commenter Multi-Dringus, I'm actually still a virgin. That's going to be really fucking awkward. Anyway, I'm going to go hit the weights now and see if that cheers me up a little bit. I'll catch you guys next time. Just kidding. Alright, enough of the tongue-in-cheek. I'm not a fucking Gymcel.
All right. So for those of you who don't know what a Gymcel is like an incel, like involuntary celibate. Like basically what he said, like somebody who works out a lot. Basically it's basically like an incel, except slightly less mentally ill, because he takes care of his mental illness by like being healthy and working out and getting big muscles and blah blah blah. So it's a term that you see thrown around on 4chan on the Fitboard quite a bit, which is why I thought it would be funny to do this video, because I kind of want to see what this guy has to say about it. It's more common than you would think, than, well, at least on Fit, right? Because like the thing with 4chan is that, and really just internet culture in general. Internet culture is, because you have to think about it, like who are the people that spend the most time on the internet? People who spend the least time like in the real world, except for social media attention seekers, let's call them, mainly like young women, but not only by any means, especially this generation. And the bulk of internet culture, at least like men are generally less socially active, I guess you could say, than women. And it's definitely better to be, like if you're going to be, if you have no social life, it's better to at least go to the gym, and like at least be healthy and fit, so that when people see you in the real world, they'll at least recognize, or they'll at least, you'll buy yourself like 30 seconds in the interaction where people will think that you're actually socially well adjusted because you are fit and have muscles, which people automatically associate with like some sort of attractiveness. And we generally don't think of attractive people as socially inept. People who are more attractive, like when you're more attractive, when you're more fit and therefore more attractive, you get a lot more leeway in terms of any like social violations that you might commit, within reason, of course. It's not like a get out of jail free card for anything. It'll buy you like a little bit more time. Like you get like one or two warnings, I guess. Not warnings, you know what I'm saying. So it's kind of like it's a term that's kind of lost a little bit of meaning because it gets thrown around a lot. It's like if you're not like typical like 6'4" like Giga Chad, you know, with a fucking jaw like this, right? And you're just kind of a, I don't want to say a nerd who works out, but like if you know a lot about fitness and you're kind of a gym rat, but you're not super good looking, then people just call you a Gymcel. And if you're like a little bit, I don't want to say socially autistic, but if you're a little quirky, let's say, this guy's clearly quirky, then people just throw that fucking Gymcel dart at you and they're like, oh, you're a Gymcel. Anyway, let's just watch more.
Seriously, who the hell comes up with this shit? But I promise I do have a point with this video, because while trying to figure out just what the hell Mr. Racist Tirade was getting at with that comment of his, I ended up stumbling down several pretty interesting rabbit holes. For starters, I learned what the word Gymcel means, and that led me to the word incel, and then of course there are Reddit threads aplenty dealing with both of these topics, because I don't think there's a place in the world where more angry virgins congregate together than on Reddit. And then you start running into terms like Chad, and cuck, and alpha male, and femoid, and red pill, and it's just like, Jesus Christ, man, enough with the freaking buzzwords already. But anyway, I browsed a few of the threads, and it all got me thinking. I look at something like that, you know, the weird memes, and just some of the thoughts that those people have that you can't possibly believe someone actually wrote down and published onto a public forum. And to me, and I'm sure many of you will feel the same way as well, it's outwardly hilarious to get a glimpse of that sort of behavior and those thought processes, but only because they're so far removed from anything that would have ever even crossed my mind. And then what makes it almost funnier is the fact that essentially straight men who can't get women are banding together, forming a community, and taking solace for the fact that they can't get women in the arms of other straight men. And the result is the most ironic and probably most toxic thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. So on to the point, and being seriously serious now, if you're watching this and you find yourself agreeing with those deluded thought processes, or you consider yourself part of that community, please do yourself a favor and get the fuck out. Like yesterday. This shit is the equivalent of a group of raging alcoholics being locked in a distillery without a single sober person there to supervise them. It's bad news for everyone involved, and it can't possibly end well. The only sane and logical decision is to remove yourself from it as far as fucking possible. Besides, wallowing about your insecurities together with other people who share those same insecurities is not therapeutic. Even if you think it provides some sort of temporary catharsis, I promise you the long-term effect will be a negative one. In therapy, the therapist acts as an impartial and unbiased guide and sounding board, allowing you to vent frustration while ensuring you stay reeled in along a healthy and positive course towards resolution. This shit, on the other hand, is just a bunch of crabs in a barrel, man. They're all just gonna drag each other down so they can all get boiled alive together. And if
It's pretty interesting. So when he was like, oh, there's never been so many angry virgins in the same place as on Reddit, I was like, well, what about 4chan? Are there more angry virgins there? Probably not on the fit board. The fit is kind of like the most alpha board just because it's people who work out. The technology board is pretty good too. But those are like, I don't think those guys are like out raging and like fucking lots of girls. Whereas it's more plausible that the fitness board would have people who would do that. The tech board is just like, they like act alpha, I guess, on the internet, because that's their native domain, I guess. Anyway, whatever. That's where they have domain expertise, which gives them more confidence. Possibly. I don't know. I could be wrong. But what he was saying about, okay, so what year was this? This is a couple of years. Oh, this is recent. Okay. Because the incel subreddit was banned from Reddit, maybe 2017. It was purged or locked or whatever. So I wonder what subreddit he was in. Maybe he just like Googled it or something and Reddit came up, because that was a very large community of incels that was very toxic and disgusting and an awful place. If you identify as an incel, change your identity. That shit is bad. Like, do not just stay away from there. Really, it's not good. It's not a good identity to have. Just like change it. Pick like literally anything else. And it's honestly, it's one of these things that's so self-destructive and so like fucking far gone on the crazy logic like that these people have, that it makes me wonder if it's even real. Really, like, like what this guy said, like, are there actually people who think like that? It's kind of insane. The whole like red pill, alpha, Chad, like those at least are concepts that have more of like an aspirational, like self-improvement-y vibe to them. Like the whole like red pill theory, I don't want to get into it, but that at least is based in some sort of like evolutionary psychology, right? And like evolution of sexuality, especially in the modern world. the red pill bloggers, those guys are extremely intelligent and very well read and excellent writers. And they, the reason that theory has gotten so popular is because it's makes a lot of sense when you apply it to the real world, when you reference your own experiences and you see kind of like how shit works. The whole incel thing is just, it's so defeatist. It's like, I remember kind of browsing it when I was, back in like 2016 or something, when I used to use Reddit a lot. I don't use Reddit that much anymore because it's so heavily politicized, and there's just so many, tinfoil hat time, so many psyops going on over there where like there's just, it's used to push a fucking narrative like super hard. And it's so pathetic over there. It's like it's kind of crazy. Like you see a lot of stuff on Poll, on the 4chan political board, where they talk about like, it's a Jewish conspiracy and like they're trying to weaken America and they're trying to destroy the white race. And when you first read that stuff, you're like, okay, crazy fucking internet neo-Nazis, like just having their little safe space to write crazy shit like that. But when you start to look at some of the stuff that's on Reddit, like it actually seems, I don't know about the whole Jewish conspiracy thing, but like when you take into account, Ghislaine Maxwell was in the Mossad, and fucking she was also Maxwell Hill, who posted all these like liberal talking points on the news subreddit, which is notorious for being like, super anti anything that's not fucking liberal, Black Lives Matter, fucking little kids should be able to, go on HRT if they want and be trans, like stuff that's arguably like very damaging for society, really. I don't think it's good to do violent protests and fucking loot stores and give 8-year-old kids fucking estrogen blockers and testosterone injections when they turn 13. That's fucking stupid and awful and really bad for your health. But those values are pushed really heavily on Reddit. It's just it's like a soft little hug fest. And if you look at the there's another sub on there. I think it's called, I don't know if it's called Ask Men, if that's what it is, something about men. It's one of the most popular like male or subreddits for men, basically. And you would think it would be like manly shit going on in there, right? It would be like, I don't know, fucking, I just bought a fucking gun. Like, let's go, what kind of gun should I buy? Shit like that, like manly shit. Like, I'm trying to get laid. What do I do? But instead it's like, when was the last time you cried? Like, I don't know, just fucking pathetic ass shit where guys are just fucking acting like little bitches, man, on there, and it's embarrassing. And it's like, why are these threads, why is this mentality being pushed so much on Reddit? Why are these getting upvoted so much? Is it actually a fucking coordinated effort to, weaken the American male for some reason? Like, and why would the Mossad want to do that? Like, they're supposed to be on our side. What the fuck is going on? That's what doesn't make sense to me with this whole conspiracy shit. Anyway, or is it possible that all these guys who use Reddit are just fucking limp-wristed little bitches who actually want to fucking ask questions like that? Like, what they want to know, like, really, like, weak information. That doesn't make sense. But they want, like, affirmation for their own weakness, which is kind of pathetic if you're a man. Like, you don't have the bandwidth for that. You can't afford to do that shit. You got to be strong. Nobody's going to be your shoulder to cry on as a man. You are the shoulder to cry on. You're the end of the line, as they say. Anyway, another thing, and then I'll restart this, but another thing I was thinking was where he was talking about, like, if you're in that community, you got to get out because it's not good to be supported by that crab bucket mentality. I was thinking about fit because, like, they say on 4chan that, like, if you make it, right, there's this whole thing about making it, right? I don't want to get like too into it, but they're like, Ziz was like, we're all going to make it. So people always talk about like, have you made it? How do you know when you made it, right? Like, how do you know when you've been successful? When you like escape your inner nerd and like become socially adept and successful and confident, right? Is that attainable? Really, who knows? But they say that if you are still on 4chan, you haven't made it. Because when you make it, you don't go back there. That's what people said, right? So I was thinking about that when he said that, like, and I was wondering, like, is that true? Anyway, food for thought.
If you find yourself falling victim to these sorts of ideas, the best advice I can give you is to, 1, first and foremost, take ownership of your life and your circumstances, and 2, focus on improving yourself. It seems like the focal point of this entire ideology is simply an attempt to displace blame for their shortcomings onto others. They blame society, or women, or genetics, or whatever. But the point is, they don't take responsibility for their circumstances. And the problem with that is, you can't change something that you've relinquished control over. So the first thing you have to do is stop blaming everybody else and everything else and take ownership of your life and the circumstances you find yourself in. This simple change in mindset can be incredibly empowering. All of your successes become your own, as do all of your failures. But once you've committed yourself to the mindset that the road that exists between these 2 points is one that you navigate of your own accord, you'll suddenly feel a lot less helpless and much more in control. And that feeling alone is invaluable. And once you've decided to take control of your own fate, then you can focus on improving yourself, both physically and mentally. Yes, go to the gym, become stronger, fitter, more muscular, and overall more physically capable. But also, read more books, research any subject that interests you, learn about math and science, study history, learn the basics of economics and philosophy. You don't have to be in school to continue your education. Pursue new hobbies, learn new skills, anything. Just improve your body and improve your mind. The more you learn, the more knowledge you can accrue, the stronger and fitter and more overall capable you can become in all aspects of life, then the more self-assured you'll become. And as you become self-assured, you'll begin to project confidence. And other people will see and feel that confidence, and that will play itself out in their interactions with you, which will help you to develop more confidence until all of your former anxieties and frustrations are a thing of the past. And it all starts with a simple change in mindset. The choice is completely up to you.
That's not bad advice. That's good advice. The whole idea, like in NLP, I used to be really into NLP. I used to fucking read all the NLP books and listen to the whole audio series from all these fucking NLP trainers. And one of the very important things that they go over in the practitioner training, like the basic level, is that you have to assume that you are always at the cause end of the equation, right? You're not at the effect. In other words, whatever circumstances you have in your life or in any given situation, you are the cause, right? Even if it's not, whatever fucking act of God or something, it's still you. You're still the cause, right? And the reason for that is because if you want to change something in your life, you have to assume that you have some level of control. If you think that, I don't have any control, it's not me, it's all these other things that are affecting me, and you put yourself at the effect end of the equation, right? You have, cause and effect. If you put yourself at the effect end of the equation, then you completely relinquish all control and like volition that you have to actually change anything in your life, which is like, if you actually want to change anything in your life and you don't believe that you're capable of it because all these things are happening to you, then you're never going to change, and you're probably just going to get a lot worse, really. Because, you're not going to stay like level, right? If you don't make a concerted effort, like a fucking super hard effort to improve yourself every single day in areas, specifically areas that you're lacking in, you don't just stay neutral, right? If you don't make a very hard effort to improve yourself, you're going to fucking go down. And then the more you go down, it shit just gets steeper and steeper, until you wake up one day and you're really in a fucking deep ass hole, and it's hard to get out. So I think that's good advice. And to be fair, this is something you hear a lot of people who are into fitness say, because that's kind of like an integral part of fitness and everybody who's fit understands this. All athletes understand this. This guy's a power lifter, I guess. Everybody understands this, that like, You don't get muscles like this on accident. You don't get a fucking 500-pound squat or 400-pound bench press on accident. That shit doesn't just happen. That's like years of work every single day with a specific goal in mind to, get stronger or get bigger muscles or whatever, or achieve a certain look. That shit doesn't just magically happen to you one day. You wake up and, you have muscles because you accidentally wandered into the gym and fucking moved your arms around randomly. It doesn't work like that. So I definitely think that it's non-negotiable to you must try to improve yourself. It's not even like, oh yeah, you probably should, or you might want to. No, like you have to, because what's the alternative? The alternative is to fucking have a really bad life. What did he say? He said something else here that I wanted to fucking
body and improve your mind. The more you learn, the more knowledge you can accrue, the stronger and fitter and more overall capable you can become in all aspects of life, then the more self-assured you'll become. And as you become self-assured, you'll begin to project confidence. And other people will see and feel that confidence, and that will play itself out in their interactions with you, which will help you to develop more confidence until all of your former anxieties and
okay, so this confidence thing and like all your anxieties going away. I don't know. That would be nice if you could just magically like learn all this stuff and you'd be confident. I still haven't figured that out. Maybe this guy's just read the right books or something. like, I'll just give you an example for myself, right? So I have a sales job, and it's currently, at the time of this recording, October, hopefully at the end of this fucking stupid fake coronavirus bullshit. But the fact is that a lot of America is still shut down. People are still wearing masks. Businesses are closed. And, not a lot of foreign tourists coming into Las Vegas, where I'm currently living, to shop at the mall that I'm working at. So it's hard, basically. It's been a struggle for the past couple of weeks, and I haven't been making as much money as I normally do. And it's, not making as much money isn't really the problem. I mean, it's a symptom of the problem. Well, maybe it's not a symptom. Yeah, I guess it's a symptom of the problem. But the real problem is just feeling idle and feeling like you're wasting your time and feeling like you're bad at what you do and that you don't really have an option to improve it. So I've just been fucking stuck lately. It's been rough until a few days ago. And you know how it is, like, you're going along in life and you experience something and you get, you experience something bad happens, right? Let's say it's beyond your control, right? It's beyond my control that fucking coronavirus shit is happening in the world and people aren't coming to spend money at the mall. I can't do anything really about that. I mean, maybe I could like go on a fucking social media campaign for the mall and try and bring people there, but like, is that really realistic? Not really. Anyway, it's outside my control, and when stuff like that happens and it makes you sad, makes you depressed, you tend to let other areas of your life kind of slack a little bit because the like underlying depression, let's call it, seeps into other areas of your life, seeps into your attitude, and negatively affects you. So you do everything else poorly. So anyway, the other day I just kind of like, I had this idea in my head because during this time, I'm not a very clean or organized person generally, despite how logical everybody says I am in these videos. Like, oh, you think so logically. Like, I feel like I'm a fucking complete mess and like all over the place with a ton of shit. And one of the reasons that I say that is because my room is not clean, really not clean at all, ever. Like I come home from work and I take off my clothes and fucking throw them on the floor, never make my bed. If I eat something, I'll throw the wrapper on the floor, like, take the change out of my pocket, throw it on the table. I just take shit out and fucking throw it wherever I feel like throwing it. And I'm like, oh, I'll deal with it later. I got to go do this other thing. So a couple days ago, I had like a really bad day at work. Like it's been really bad and getting progressively worse. And, the other day was really bad. It like had like reached its peak. Right. And to have a sales job and not sell for an extended period of time is one of the worst feelings that you can ever experience. And, it was getting to the point where like I wanted to quit. Like I didn't want to do it anymore. And everyone that I work with can kind of sense that. So I had a talk with the manager. Long story short, I had a good talk, and he's a good manager. And he basically told me, he's like, listen, just focus on the stuff that you can control, right? There's some things you can control, some things you can't control. Just focus on the things that you control. Try and make every single one of those as good as possible. And don't stress yourself out. Don't he said, whatever, don't go into pressure. Don't let the pressure affect you, I guess. Just keep doing what you've been doing. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, because that's the opposite of what I had been doing. I'd been trying to change things. I was like, oh, well, this isn't working. I got to change this. I got to change that. And then I would get frustrated because nothing would work. And then I would just feel really stuck. Why am I talking about this? I don't remember. Anyway, the point is that I looked up a video. I was like, what can I, benefits of like mental health benefits of keeping your room clean or something. Because like I woke up in the morning and I looked around at my room. It looked like a fucking bomb had gone off. And I was like, all right, maybe if I clean my room, I'll feel better. Right. So anyway, it led me to like rediscover Jordan Peterson, who I absolutely love. Guy's a genius and so motivating. And I started watching all these Jordan Peterson videos. One of them was like, why you got to clean your room. And basically what he said the same thing my manager said, which is like, why do I tell people to clean their room? It's because you could be, such a wretched person. You know how he talks, right? He says stuff like that. You could be such a wretched individual that like for you, cleaning your room is a win. That's a good thing. You might not be able to do anything else. You might not be able to fix all the other problems in your life, but you can clean your fucking room and you can have a clean room. And that little victory will have kind of the same effect that I mentioned earlier about the depression infecting every area of your life. That little victory will kind of spread the tendrils of other little victories in your other areas of your life. So I guess the reason I'm even talking about this is because what he said is that like when you work on yourself, and I mean, he said like learn knowledge and math and history and shit like that. Like, I guess that's important in terms of like how, you know, insofar as like those lessons could potentially motivate you to change certain areas of your life. But yeah, I think it's just important to work on the things that you can control. By the way, one of which is fitness, which I guess is where the whole Gymcel thing comes into place. Because like these people who are incels, they don't think that they have any control. That was like the whole thing about the sidebar, the incel sidebar. Back when I read it, I remember this. And it like, what was the sidebar? It was literally this Q&A of like basically rationalizations as to why these people are incels. And it was like, you know how it is on Reddit, right? Like a question like, why don't you just go to the gym and work out? And the answer was like, well, some of us go to the gym and work out and we still can't get laid. It was like, well, why don't you work on game? Well, some of us, game doesn't work. Girls only like Chad. So like, anyway, whatever.
The frustrations are a thing of the past. And it all starts with a simple change in mindset. The choice is completely up to you. Look, I generally try to avoid making videos like this, and I certainly won't make a habit of it, because it is absolutely not my goal to be some self-proclaimed pseudo-motivational guru. But in this case, after learning about this toxic subculture and putting two and two together, it became readily apparent to me that its ideas are actually quite prevalent, even here on YouTube, just based on many of the comments I see in passing, both on my channel and others. And a large portion of my channel's demographic is smack dab in the middle of the demographic that these sorts of ideas are targeted at. So I just wanted to provide an opposing viewpoint and a healthier mindset for those who are vulnerable to being preyed upon by these sorts of ideas and thought processes. And if you find yourself in that category, I truly hope you're able to take the advice in this video and use it to take something negative and spin it into a positive. It's always been my goal on this channel to provide you guys with practical, real-world advice when it comes to strength and conditioning. And when it comes to this topic, it's no different. And if this video topic is completely irrelevant to you, then, well, I apologize, but I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. And I think that's about all I got for now, guys. Please be sure to like the video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and definitely leave me some love in the comments down below. Also, if you're interested in online coaching,
blah, 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 whatever. All right, anyway, this was, I was fully prepared to not like this guy when I watched this video. Just because I feel like I watched another video of him where he went after like Athlean X or Greg Doucette or something, and I was like, or I think it was Athlean X, right? I like Athlean X. I think the guy gives amazing advice, and if you can get past the whole like fake weights, fake natty thing, like the dude is unparalleled in his knowledge and ability to convey useful fitness information. Some people get hung up on that, and I seem to remember that this guy did as well. And I think at the time when I watched that video, it seemed to me like he was only going after him as a way to like get more views for his video. It's a pretty common tactic, and you could even make the argument that that's what I used to do in my videos, where I would like look at all these fucking YouTube celebrities and pick apart their diet plan and stuff like that. And I guess, so maybe it's probably a little hypocritical of me to say that about him. I just think that to go after somebody like Athlean X, like, there's so many better targets available. You're going to go after the fucking top guy, who's, in my opinion, the top guy for a reason. Like, I don't know. It seems to me, in my opinion, Jeff is just so fucking knowledgeable and like on point with his information. The dude has like, these people who pick on Athlean X, as far as I know, they'll never go after him for his training advice or his nutrition advice or his like motivational like reasons for doing things or his biomechanics. Never. Because the dude is fucking on point about that information like 100%. Anyway, I like this guy, I guess. Well, I like this video. I haven't seen too many of his or any of his videos really, except that other one that I mentioned. One thing that I wanted to mention is that as I was watching this, where he said that like the whole incel community or whatever makes up a very big part of his demographic and YouTube in general, and by extension, you could even say the world, because the whole world is on social media. It got me thinking that about this whole thing, and this is like a common notion in the whole red pill community, that like there's no game plan for men. There's no game plan. Really, there isn't. There's no like advice for men anymore, really. Like, what is the advice? Fucking get a job and consume products, get a wife and have kids. That's it. That's the advice. Where's the like That's not like that. That's okay for a woman, because women, that's what you're biologically programmed to do. That's like, if you're a woman, you already know what you're going to do. You're going to be a mom. That's it, really. Yeah, okay, you can have a job and whatever, but all of that stuff will eventually become a second priority to becoming a mom, if you want to be a mom and you want to fulfill your like biological imperative, right? But men, we don't have that anymore. There's no more wars. There's no more neighboring tribes for us to go kill in most of the world. And it's all just so modern and unlike what we evolved to actually do, which is not worse. I'm not saying we should go back to fucking killing each other and, you know, doing fucked up shit like that, like we used to do. The world used to be a very bad place. But there's no, like, nobody has come up with, nobody has, there's no, like, aspiration for men anymore, really. There's no guidance. There's no accurate, good guidance that isn't heavily tainted by fucking corporate America, really. Like, you know, everything is like, oh, you got to do this, this, and this. And on the way, you got to buy these fucking products and, like, go eat McDonald's and go get a college education and, you know, go do all this shit that will fucking put money in pockets of people who have a lot more money and use media and social media to promote their fucking shit indirectly. So there's not only is there no, like, there's no overarching goal, but in the goals that there are, there's no, like, specific steps, right? Except one of them, you could argue, is fitness, which is why you get so many people who are, like, socially autistic drawn to fitness, that why you have this Gymcel phenomenon at all, because it at least provides some structure and some plan for people to follow to achieve a certain end, right? There is a game plan. There's a very heavily, like, well-studied, proven plan, whether it's powerlifting or sports, and even I guess the military is kind of like this too, where you have a set of rules you can follow. But it provides some sort of structure that will lead you to a goal that is a worthy goal for men. And really, not even a worthy goal. It's pretty much mandatory for men to be strong, physically strong. Okay, anyway, this is a lot more interesting than I thought it would be. Do you guys have any other recommendations for videos or YouTubers? If you do, let me know. Leave me a comment.